What's up, losers? Today I'm back with another r/fatlogic extravaganza. Reading a few posts that I found interesting, amusing, or flat out frustrating, and sharing my thoughts on them. This is episode 85 in the fatlogic series. And I'm keen to see what the fat activists have been up to this time. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Obesity prevention is eugenicist language. There is no way around it. Even if fatness did innately lead to sickness, even if all fat people are inevitably more sick or disabled than not fat people, sick and disabled people are part of natural human diversity and have every right to exist too. Our struggles are intertwined.
Size. For the millionth time, it's not fricking eugenics. Nobody is trying to breed fat people out of existence, or preventing fat people from reproducing at all, because fatness is not genetic. People are not born fat. People become fat as a result of diet and lifestyle factors. And people can become not fat by making moderate changes to their diet and lifestyle. Obesity prevention absolutely does not involve violence, or mass sterilization, or anything at all of that nature. And anyone who suggests otherwise is talking complete rubbish. No doubt in an attempt to make themselves seem like tragic victims of societal oppression, rather than the self-indulgent drama queens that they really are. It's true that fat people are human beings just like anyone else, and that they have as much right to exist as anyone. I would never dispute this. And I'm sure that very few advocates of obesity prevention would deny it either. But this does not mean that we should treat obesity as just another dimension of diversity to be celebrated. Obesity is not harmless. It's extremely deleterious to a person's long-term health. And it's completely avoidable. We are not doing fat people a favor by telling them that it's okay to be fat, and that they shouldn't attempt to do anything about it. On the contrary, to tell them this is to condemn them to a whole array of undesirable health outcomes that the thin peers will be much less likely to encounter, and that they too could sidestep if they lost a little weight and made an effort to keep it off. I've spoken about my issues with the obesity to disability comparison a few times in the past, so I won't go into a lot of detail here. But as far as this post goes, society takes all kinds of precautions to prevent people from getting injured in a way that might lead to long-term disability. Bicycle helmets, wet floor signs, guard rails, etc., etc. And this is because most able-bodied people, understandably, do not want to become disabled if it can be avoided. People who do become disabled do not lose their value as human beings. Obviously, they are still just as precious and worthy as anybody. But this does not mean that we should stop trying to prevent people from suffering these kinds of injuries. And it certainly shouldn't be used as a justification for normalizing obesity, when we could be striving to prevent it.
So many of what people claim are non-scale victories in their health journey are just a celebration of, at least temporarily, gaining thin privilege. If you are celebrating being able to do what fatter people cannot, you are celebrating other people's oppression. Do better.
I'm sorry. What? To what oppression are you referring? Who is the oppressor? Exactly. Gravity. The laws of physics. The constraints of the material realm. I'm dying to know. Seriously though, the fact that someone who has lost weight can, say, run a couple of miles, or climb a flight of stairs without getting out of breath, or fit into a tighter pair of pants, does not support anyone's oppression. They are not examples of thin privilege. They are hard-fought personal victories on the road to a healthier life that don't impose on anybody else in any way. The only basis upon which a fat person could claim that any of these things was oppressing them is that they feel that it is unfair that thin people have capabilities that they do not, because it makes them feel bad about themselves. And let's be completely 100% real. That's just petty, pathetic jealousy. And it's embarrassing. There is nothing at all preventing other fat people from achieving the same things, other than an unwillingness to put in the effort. And if you are not willing to put in the effort, you have no right to be mad at others who have put in the effort for reaping the rewards. Choosing to lash out at others for succeeding where you have failed, instead of making a positive change in your own life, is about as toxic and childish as it gets. I would be nothing short of embarrassed to admit to having such thoughts, let alone brazenly whining in the way that this post does. But I guess if you're a fat activist, personal responsibility and pride are basically foreign concepts. So I guess it's no wonder I find these people so difficult to relate to. Haha.
It's easier for fatphobic people to believe that all fat people eat chips and candy all day and never exercise, because believing otherwise means their moral high ground of being thin / hating themselves for being fat is founded on nothing.
Okay, so I don't think that many people believe that fat people literally eat all day, or literally never exercise, but it is true that we find it easy to believe that fat people generally eat more and exercise less than the thin peers. And the reason that it's easy for us to believe this is not because we're trying to maintain a moral high ground, or justify feelings of superiority. It's because we understand how weight gain and weight loss actually work. We've observed the eating and exercise patterns of fat people in our own lives, and how these differ from those of the thin or fit people we know. And we have observed in our own lives the role that diet and exercise play in determining whether we lose, maintain, or put on weight. In other words, we believe that fat people eat more and exercise less, because it's true, and because we have no reason to delude ourselves into believing otherwise. Unlike some people. It's funny to me how fat activists will go around accusing others of trying to occupy the moral high ground, or whatever, just for wanting to diet, or being proud of their weight loss, while they themselves are constantly moralizing to others over the most minor of perceived slights, calling everyone fatphobic, or racist, or ableist, or even eugenicist, for little more than acknowledging that obesity is unhealthy. Where is the damn self-awareness? Seeing them try to act like they're just chilling out, being cool, minding their own business, while at the same time shrilly preaching to anyone and everyone about their 1,000,001 fatphobic microaggressions, is honestly just surreal. Like, these people have no idea how people view them at all. Do they? They think they're the cool kids hanging out at the back of the class, or something, when in reality, they're the pompous prefects, telling everyone to pull their socks up and tuck their shirts in. Haha. I guess what I'm getting at here, in my own roundabout way, is that I wish the fat acceptance movement would pick a lane and stick to it. You can be pretentious, moralizing fat activists, who spend all day telling thin people how problematic they are, and lamenting the evils of diet culture. Or you can be cool, unconcerned fatties, who just want to eat some tasty food and have some good times. I'd certainly prefer the second vision, but it really doesn't matter either way, so long as it's internally consistent. What's not working for me, however, is the confused messaging of posts like this, where we have fat activists accusing everyone else of moralizing, while they themselves are very clearly morally grandstanding. Because frankly, it's just frustrating to read. So, yeah, that's what I want for Christmas. A little consistency. Haha. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the posts and my commentary. What do you think? Is obesity prevention, eugenicist language, a non-scale victories, thin privilege? Do fat people eat chips and candy all day? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Or I'll celebrate a weight loss achievement. And you'll feel so jealous that you'll be forced to go on social media and type out an angry rant about how I'm flaunting my thin privilege. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.